Hey everybody, this is Willow, and I'm working to help people to wake up. I wanted to get on here tonight and do a quick video about Morgellons and the fungus in the scalp, because I think it's important that I do this. For the main reason is I was talking to a man last night about Morgellons. He was asking me some questions, and I was talking to him on Skype. And he was telling me that he's had success removing the Morgellons from the body by doing the Epsom salt and the baking soda and the borax and all that. And that he had success with that, and he felt like it was coming along pretty good as far as removing it. But then he said that he's having a lot of hair loss, and because of the fungus and all that gets in the scalp. And so I was asking him, I said, well, are you doing these scalp soakings along with your body soakings? And he said, well, yeah, but he's not doing the scalp soakings every night. He's just doing he's mainly focused on removing the fungus from the body. So the point I wanted to make in this video is, don't forget about the scalp. You've got to soak the scalp, because in another video that I did, I talk about how I believe that the scalp is the central location for Morgellons, which means I believe that's where it starts, because the first symptoms that I started having was in the scalp area, the itching and the crawling sensations and the stinging and the burning. And most people that I talk to tell me that, yeah, that's where it starts. It's the crawling in the scalp. So it's real important that you soak your scalp. That may be the main focal point that you want to focus on first, because, or you can actually do it all at the same time, but the scalp is the main focal point, because since that's where it seems to start, that's where you need to focus your attention. I don't want to say the most, because everything has to be treated, but you do want to pay attention to your scalp. You don't want to just overlook the scalp, because if you don't get the Morgellons and the fungus out of it, then it's just going to come. It's going to come back. If you do remove it from the body, it's going to come back, because it starts in the scalp and then it moves to the rest of the body. So you've got to get the fungus out of the scalp. Now, yes, Morgellons will cause you to lose your hair. So if you're somebody who is having hair loss, a man or a woman, doesn't matter, either one. If you're having hair loss and it's kind of unusual for you, or maybe it's happening too quick, and you can't figure out why you're having hair loss, it's a possibility that you could have the Morgellons fungus and all the other stuff, junk, buried down deep inside your scalp. Now, let me say why you can have this and not know it. Now, some people have full-blown Morgellons like I did. When it hit me, it was full-blown. I mean, man, my scalp came alive, then my body came alive. I had full-blown Morgellons when it hit me. It was everywhere, and it was severe. So there was no way that I could not ignore it, and there was no way that I could not do anything about it, okay? So that's when I started my tub soakings. But then there are other people who appear to have mild forms of Morgellons, which means they don't have the full-blown symptoms to where it's so severe that they can't just ignore it. Some people have a milder case, and having this milder case of it, which means they might have just a mild case of crawling, itching and burning, and they might not look at it as anything that they have to address, or they might try to use a certain kind of shampoo and remove it, and it might seem like it might go away, and they might have a little bit of sensation in the scalp or some tingling or something, and they might think, well, it's okay. But the point I'm trying to make is, you can have the fungus in your scalp and not know that it's buried deep within the pores of your skin, okay? I didn't know. Actually, when I first started having the symptoms, I didn't know that I had anything buried in my skin that needed to come. I didn't know that I had anything buried inside my body. All I knew was that I was having this intense crawling and itching and stinging in my scalp, in my head, and I knew I had to find a way to stop it. Now, the shampoos I was using wasn't working, so that's when I started doing the Epsom salt treatments in the bathtub. And in the beginning, it was only to treat my scalp, because that, in the beginning, that's the only place that I had any symptoms, within the scalp. So the scalp was the first part that I started treating. That's what I was mainly focused on in the beginning, you know. And then when everything started coming out, when the fungus started coming out and the fibers started coming out, and the little black looking things, you know, and the little the other little mucus, you know, sticky looking stuff that comes out, when all that started coming out, and it hit me, and I realized there's something in my head that's not supposed to be there. Then I just kept doing the treatments. I kept it up, and then over time, the same stuff that was coming out of my scalp started coming out of my body, started coming out of the rest of my body. So you see, my main focus was the scalp. And let me say this, it didn't come out with the first treatment. I did this bathtub, I probably did the bathtub treatments, soaking my scalp in the bathtub probably for 2 weeks before, was it 2 weeks or maybe 1 week? I know it wasn't right away. It took about 2 weeks before I started seeing anything come out. I just kept up my treatments. So this is another reason why I feel like it probably would be possible for somebody to overlook the sensations that they're having in their scalp, and just allowing it to build up, to settle down and build up underneath the pores of the skin. And yes, if it builds up, it's going to kill the hair follicle. It's going to make your hair fall out. So this could be a reason why a lot of people are losing their hair. Now, am I saying that everybody who's losing their hair has Morgellons fungus? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you are losing your hair, and it's a possibility that you could have the Morgellons fungus in your scalp. And if you want to find out if you do have it, not saying everybody has it either. I mean, if you want to find out if you have the Morgellons fungus in your scalp, just start doing the bathtub treatments and the Epsom salt or the baking soda every night. And I would say that you would have to do it a reasonable amount of time to make sure, to determine whether you have it or not. I would say at least 2 weeks of treating your scalp every night in the baking soda or the Epsom salt, to find out if there's anything in there that needs to come to the surface. Because after 2 weeks, if you've soaked your scalp every night for 2 weeks and you don't see anything coming out of the pores of your skin, then I would say that you're okay. You don't have the scalp fungus. But if you soak it every night for 2 weeks and you start, or it may not even take 2 weeks for some people, if it's built up, if it's a lot of it that's kind of impacted in your skull, it might be that it might start coming out right away. So if you start seeing a white looking fuzz or fibers, or if you start seeing little sand like crystals, it looks like sand or salt, or if you start seeing little black looking specks of, it might look like little critters, like little bugs or something, anything that unusual, if you start seeing anything unusual coming out of your scalp, then you could pretty much say that you assume that you have the Morgellons scalp fungus. So I'm thinking now that there might be a lot of people walking around out there who have this fungus in their scalp and the rest of their body, and they just don't know it, and their symptoms are not severe enough for them to not be able to ignore it. I mean, I couldn't ignore mine. There was no way. It was too severe. It was constant, and it demanded that I do something. So, but I do realize that some people have a milder form. So just to put that out there, if you're having hair loss, and there don't really seem to be any reason for it, or you've never had hair loss before and you started having hair loss, it could be that you have the Morgellons scalp fungus. Now, if you can't do the treatments every night, or you just don't want to bother with the treatments, there are other things that you can use to help pull the fungus out of the scalp. I mean, there's one guy's herbalist who has a tonic, or he has a recipe for skin for detoxing the skin detox. And I think he's got vodka, and you mix some stuff in with the vodka. I think it's MMS, magnesium oil, and there's a lot of things he puts in there. I can't remember what they are, but I tell you what, I'll put a link below for his skin detox. So if anybody wants to look at that, wants to watch that video, I'll put a link in the comment section for that. So if you don't want to if you want to know if you have the Morgellons scalp fungus and you don't want to do the bathtub treatments every night, it may be that you can use his skin detox, mix it up, and then rub it on your head every day or every night until, for maybe 2 weeks, and see if anything comes out, because it sounds like his detox, it sounds like it would work, because especially with the vodka, I believe that vodka would probably draw the toxins out of your skin if there was any in there. So, but the way I did it was the bathtub soakings every night. And then, of course, after all the stuff started coming out of the rest of my body, after I realized that it wasn't just my head, that it was my whole body that was infested with this fungus, then, of course, just getting in the bathtub and just soaking my whole body, head, everything, every night. That's what I did for years to remove it all and get it all out. But it's a possibility that this skin detox could work just as well. And if it does, and that would certainly be an easier way to remove the toxins and the fungus. And also, you can take essential oils. There's one lady who says she took essential oil, 3 or 4 drops of essential oils every day internally, because Morgellons, it doesn't just affect your skin, it infects you internally. It's systemic. It's everything. It affects everything. So you can't just treat. You can't just do the treatments for your skin or remove it from your skin. You have to treat internally too. So, and I will leave a link for Tony, the herbalist, who talks about some of his remedies for the internal cleanse. I'll try to leave his link too if I can find it. And let's see, the essential oils. Oh, the potassium iodide. The potassium iodide helps to cleanse internally. The bentonite clay, and the boron. The boron. Now the boron, you can take the boron pills internally, or you can. Some people actually take the borax. Now I use the borax in my bath water to remove it from my skin, but I don't actually take the. I don't take the borax internally. I feel like that maybe that's. I just hadn't been brave enough to start taking the borax, but the boron pills you can get at your health food store. And also Ken's Morgellons gel. I want to mention that because he has a gel that a recipe that you mix up and you put all over your body. That too will bring the Morgellons out of the body. And I have a video for anybody who's interested. I have a video about Ken's Morgellons gel. Just go to my YouTube channel. It's there. Look it up. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about tonight. Was the scalp, with the fungus in the scalp, and remind people, don't forget about the scalp. Yes, you have to remove it from the rest of your body, but if you forget about the scalp and you leave it in there, you're not gonna get rid of it. It's gonna move from your scalp down to the rest. Even if you get it out of your body, it's still you're gonna be reinfected because you still have it in the scalp. So don't forget about your scalp. And I know people say, well, you know, if I start soaking my scalp, then all my hair is going to fall out. Yeah, most of my hair did fall out, but if you don't remove it from your scalp, your hair is going to fall out anyway. So this could be why a lot of people are losing their hair, and maybe not. I don't know, but I know for a fact that Morgellons will cause you to have hair loss. So don't forget about your scalp. That's all, folks. Thanks. I love you.